have to acknowledge that the Zionist experiment failed. It didn't work. That really sucks. I know there's a lot of work to be done there, and we need to move on.
Okay, so I would love to hear from you, because as a non-Jew, I will not say, I have not gotten around to saying that, and I don't know that I will.
Yeah.
In my lane. And because my fondness for my Jewish family members and friends, but clearly, well, that's all going by the boards. As you said, like, this is definitely a turning point.
It's huge.
Where in New Jersey are you from, and your family from?
Newark.
Well, from Newark originally. I was a 4-year-old during the riots. I used to use that when I was a virtue signaler as street cred. Like, I grew up in the projects in Newark during the riots. Okay. But then we moved to Madison, which is
okay. Well, you see, you bring up a good point. I'm from an Alabama. So the reason I bring this up, and this is why I think a lot of people in the chat, and it's a big misnomer, and this is why so many people gravitate towards Trump, not from the racism angle. The reason that this is such a problem is because so much of what the white supremacy construct is in society is primarily from the upper class. And you look at how it bears out, again.
Yes, we're in a class war.
When you're in Madison, if you have affluent Jewish relatives, they could very well live in Livingston or West Orange. And so what ends up happening as a result is I would ask everybody to listen to the commentary of Juliana Margulies on the podcast that she was on recently.
No,
if you want to know
if
you want to know what actual racism sounds like.
Did you hear it, Cheryl? Did you?
It was, I listen to everything.
Yeah.
I listen to everything because I need to know what everyone's saying and hearing.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I don't even know what to say.
Right.
I want everyone in the chat to understand. This is not all white people are racist. This is you have to understand the societal construct that comes from the very top to keep things exactly the way they are.
Well, this is the intersection of class.
And so when you are, I believe, of Latino extraction from Newark, and everyone is looking at you like, well, how do you know this? It's like, because in a moment like this, and especially with what Juliana Margulies is saying, I am telling you right now, she speaks for millions of white women in the suburbs of this country.
I know that.
This is not a joke. This is very real. And I have been, because again, I'm not from the most affluent place.
But I'm from Manalapan.
Yeah, hello. It's not Marlboro, it's not Colts Neck, but it's still very nice. And so, I went to school, again, I come from a middle class family. And so growing up in that environment, you get to see the spectrum across the board of all different walks of life. You get to see the working class all the way up to the upper class. And what is very distinct is that people in the upper class, especially white women in the suburbs, who I've always maintained are the biggest racists in society. It's not close.
Absolutely.
And so when you understand who's on the PTA board, who's in these, local groups and stuff, these are the gatekeepers of the corporate hierarchy infrastructure that is built into society. And this is all the while we are constantly fighting with each other about this person's a racist, that person's a racist. No, if you want to know what real racism is, listen to what Juliana Margulies said and how she talks about the Black community.
Oh my God. No. I can't even. Well, so this is the thing. First, I have to tell you, so Mercado is actually, I'm Filipino, Japanese, Irish, German.
Well, that sounds like New Jersey.
And Mercado, because the Spanish colonized the Philippines, right? So, and there's so many things. So when we moved from Newark to Madison, we lived in the apartments, and they used to call us the apartment people. The people up on the hill wouldn't let them, some of their friends, play with us.
Right.
Now, I didn't know this at the time because my friends, so Madison is a very wealthy, for those of you who don't know, very wealthy community. And a lot of the other communities around there, like Basking Ridge and Green Village and New Vernon, and are really estate wealthy. And so when those kids would get kicked out of private school and boarding school, they would come to Madison. So Madison High School was wealthy as, and I fit in there because people thought I was of them. And fast forward, have kids. We moved to South Orange, New Jersey in Essex County. Now, growing up in Morris County, Essex County was like, ew, right? And being from Newark originally, all of my friends, my parents' age were like, why would you move back to, like, it's right there next to Newark, right? So in my own home, this happened several times when people would talk about where you're from, blah, 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 blah. And I would say Madison. And someone said to me, where'd you live? And I said, Ridgedale Avenue. That's the kind of town it is, right? They know exactly where you live. And they said, where? And I said, the apartments. I said, I didn't know there were apartments in Madison. And another woman who was a friend of mine, who was a bigwig at Hadassah, she was in my house. And I told her that I'd grown up in Ivy Hill, Newark. And she said, not joking. She said, you clean up really nicely.
Yeah.
Wait, is this still a friend? Because Hadassah, I can't fathom would be happy.
No, it's not. But the thing is that what I'm saying is, I know these women. I thought I had a tribe of people who cared. And that was quickly dispelled after George Floyd was murdered. And what you're saying is so true. And what you said at the outset about moderates, Black leaders for centuries have been bemoaning people like me because we are the ones that are standing in the way of progress.
Yeah.
We are the ones that uphold these structures. Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Marcus Garvey, Shirley Chisholm, Malcolm, everyone has been like, we'll take the KKK any day of the week.
Over us.
At least we know where they stand.
Yeah.
So I am right there with you on this. The problem is trying to get, you don't want to, I mean, I'm beyond alienating. Like, people are going to be offended the way they're going to be offended. But the untapped potential of white American women is something that I'm still, at age 60, going to try to excavate.
No, it's important because there's not that many people in your age demographic that are doing what you're doing. It's somehow, and I've said this so many times on the show, like, it is somehow people don't understand that it is not Black people's responsibility to educate you about them. Right. Like, and it's something that I feel like I've said to people often, like, that's not their job. Right. You realize, like, and I think that, and I'm very appreciative because there aren't that many. I don't know of any other white women that are really I mean,
there are some. No. I'm meeting more of them.
Good.
But one of the reasons why I said to my husband, look, I know I'm not going to be making money, but I know my platform's going to take off because there's not anyone else. So I went from 800 followers to now I have, I think, 78,000. And it went viral at the end of May.
Right? And you're only on Instagram? Are you only
I only focus on Instagram. I just don't have the bandwidth. Like,
Yeah.
And I hate social media, but I am learning how to use it for good, right? To use it to do what I need it to do, knowing that it's still going to burn me. I can't remain silent. And so once I was able to speak in my true voice, that's when it took off, because there really I haven't found many people out there in my demographic doing this, but there are people who are members of my community there's one woman in Florida who got eaten alive by people like a couple months ago because she said something really like, right? And I try mightily to call people in while I'm calling them out. Sometimes I don't do such a good job. Anyway, she just wouldn't give up. She wouldn't give it up, right? And I'm like, oh God, it was like a flipping piranhas like on top of her. Yeah. 3 months later, she came back into the community and DM'd me and said, I get it now.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.